I've just been looking at the 2-year euro, and quite frankly, after the decline from around about 130, it hasn't done anything for about a year and 3 quarters. It's basically been stuck between 105 and 113. What are your thoughts, and why did you want this chart?
I wanted this chart actually, Steve, because I was looking at some of the comments that Wolfgang Schaeuble made this morning and hitting back on some of the comments that Draghi made, that there needs to be more stimulus from the national governments. And of course, as always, when this topic comes up, the pressure then turns on Germany to do something, given their whacking great surplus. If you go back 2 years to July of 2014, the IMF said that the effective exchange rate adjusted for inflation in Germany is between 5 to 15% undervalued. You've then seen a further 13% drop in the euro relative to the dollar over that period. So we're talking about a significant undervaluation of the effective exchange rate over in Germany, which of course has lifted their exports. So they, I would argue, the biggest global beneficiary of the ongoing currency wars that we've seen since the financial crisis. They've had to do nothing because they've benefited from being part of the euro. So it just makes me laugh when, even with humour, he pushes back and says, as he said this morning, I don't see the ECB changing their policy, so why should we? I think they're kind of sitting pretty, actually, having benefited from this and their exports and actually having to done very little. So, guys, I'd argue time to stand up. But that was why I wanted to look at euro dollar, Steve. Obviously, Greece is at top of the agenda here. Get on with the reforms, please, is the message from the Eurogroup. I'm not so sure, actually. They've got by far the bulk of the reforms that they promised to do 2 months ago, saying that they haven't done them effectively. And we're looking at labour market reform, we're looking at the privatisation funds. It's things that, you know, we've all been talking about for the last several years. They're trying to get hold of another 2.8 billion euros. They've preempted any debate or criticism here, or at least tried to, by sending a letter saying they're getting on with it. But at the same time, and as you guys have pointed out, Alexis Tsipras banging the drum again for debt relief. He basically needs something to give to Parliament here to say, guys, we can do these reforms because we're being given something else. But back to Germany here, and, you know, I don't see Germany giving much more flexibility on this point until they see more from Greece. So a bit of a standoff here at the Eurogroup, as always, it feels, when we talk about Greece.